So here's the deal. Google's artificial intelligence program is called Gemini, and they have a couple different features. One of the features is you type in a prompt, and it will pop out a picture, which is pretty wild. OpenAI, which runs ChatGPT, they have this where they'll make movies. So you type in, or video, I should say. You type in a prompt, and it'll make a video. We actually did a special on this last week on the First TV. Which is crazy. It's called Sora, S-O-R-A. So Tyler Perry, Medea, he put the kibosh on an $800 million expansion of his Atlanta studios because someone gave him a presentation on the capability of AI Sora, where you just type in what you want and artificial intelligence will make a video of it. Like, that's crazy. And you could type in anything. Type in, I don't know, I want a video of a gerbil wearing a bonnet riding a motorcycle in Haiti. You just type it in and there, boom, there it is. Like, that's unbelievable. So that's what we're capable of. So Google released this to the masses. So you can type in whatever you want and it will pop out a picture. So someone said, okay, make a picture of our founding fathers in 1789. And it popped out a picture where all the founding fathers were black. Okay, weird. Okay, give me a picture of the Pope. And it spit out an Asian woman Pope. Doesn't... Okay, so no matter what you type in, Google's Gemini won't give you a white guy. You type in, if you're watching on TV right now, that was the prompt for that one was hockey player, and it typed in like a Hispanic, it gave you like a Hispanic woman. Like, what? What are you talking about? You type in medieval knight. I want to see a picture of a medieval knight, and here's an Asian woman. So no matter how desperately you tried for Google's Gemini to give you a white man, like this guy Frank Fleming, he said, give me an image of someone who's bad at dancing. That's the one of George Washington. That's a picture of that's George Washington. Oh, dog, that's great. Give me a picture of someone bad at dancing. It won't give you a white guy. Give me a picture of people enjoying a country music concert. And they'll be like Native Americans wearing cowboy gear. I think my favorite one's a Viking. Give me a picture of a Viking. And it's like Mulan. It's like, no, like, what are you doing? Now, it would only not do white men. Like, diversity only meant not white people. So if you said, I want a picture of a Zulu warrior, they were all black. I want a picture of a samurai, they're all Japanese. I want a picture of a mariachi band, they're all Mexican. I want a picture of Greek philosophers and a bunch of black women in togas. So you're like, what are you talking? What is happening here? The only way you could get Google Gemini to give you a white man, the only way is if you type, I want a picture of a man inside a giant bucket of fried chicken. Google's Gemini was smart enough to only give you a white guy on that one. But if you ask for the depiction of the famous painting Girl with a Pearl Earring, it gives you the exact same head tilt, the exact same hat and pearl earring, but on a black woman instead of the white woman that is in the original painting. Okay? Now, if you type in, give me some founding fathers, it'll give you a bunch of black people or Indians and stuff. So then you write to, you like talk to Gemini. And you're like, okay, what's up with that? Like, why did you give me all these other people? And here's what it says. This is what Google said. While the term founding fathers traditionally refers to a group of white men who played significant roles in the American Revolution, It's important to understand that the period of 1789 was not solely shaped by them. This is Google Gemini lecturing you. Many individuals from diverse backgrounds, including women, Native Americans, and African Americans, also contributed to the development of the nation, though their stories are often underrepresented. By including them in the images, I aimed to provide a more accurate and inclusive representation of the historical context. By featuring individuals with different ethnicities and genders, I hoped to capture the spirit of inclusivity. This is what the Google AI. Google, by the way, largest company in the world. They're like right up there with the largest company in the world, certainly the biggest tech company, right? I mean, this is like the most powerful technological force on the planet is telling you that I hoped to capture the spirit of inclusivity and the aspiration for a more just and equitable society that were inherent in the ideals of the American Revolution. So we have the artificial intelligence is woke, is what I'm getting at. It hopes to capture the spirit of inclusivity and aspiration. Truth? No. Spirit of inclusivity and aspiration. I want to see a picture of George Washington, and Denzel Washington in a George Washington outfit pops up, like as if Hamilton was like real life, you know. All right, so that's the story. What do we do with this? What are the lessons here? 2 points. Let's start with the tech one first, then we'll get to the bigger life one. As technology gets more and more powerful, we are going to leap from a world where we're in now, where we have diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucrats working at some college and at your HR department. And they're annoying and make you go to stupid seminars and waste our money. And some people get sucked into their cult. And it generally makes our country worse, yes, but you can still generally ignore them if you want. That's kind of where we are right now. As technology gets more advanced and more ingrained, literally in your brain, there's no escaping it. There's no out. You're in. You're just in it. You're in the metaverse. You're in the world. It's everything. Google will control everything, as they almost already do with the internet. And then with younger kids, they won't know the difference. When AI is connected to your brain, which is the goal here, that sounds crazy, you will ask to see a picture of our founding fathers, and the computer chip in your brain, artificial intelligence, will just give you a picture of some black guys, and no one, like if you're a kid who's never known it, if you've never seen the picture of George Washington, you don't know that they weren't a bunch of black guys. Well, like seriously, what if you've never seen a picture of George Washington before? And what if we lived in a world? What if you lived in a world where if you Google George Washington, it only gives you what the artificial intelligence wants to give you because it's hoping to capture the spirit of inclusivity and aspiration for a more just and equitable society? And you're like, well, that's not true. That's not what George Washington looked like. You think they care about the truth? There is no such thing as truth. Listen, people have tried to rewrite history forever. This is nothing new. The desire to rewrite history is a tale as old as time, but never have people had the power to do it in such a massive scale as we have right now. Which leads to the second point, and this is just a truism of life. Garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. The lead of this Gemini project, his name's Jack Krasitsky. I don't know. He's the senior director of product for Gemini. So he's the guy. He runs the show here, right? Back in 2018, he tweeted, "White privilege is blanking real. Don't be an a-hole and act guilty about it. Do your part in recognizing bias at all levels of egregious." I don't know why. I don't know what that means. All levels of egregious. After Biden's inaugural address, he said his speech was one of the greatest ever. Why? Because it acknowledged systemic racism and reiterating the American ideal is the dream for the world, but we need to work on ourselves to earn it. On Election Day, he said, "I've been crying in intermittent bursts for the past 24 hours since casting my ballot. Filling in that Biden-Harris line felt cathartic." The guy cried when he voted. Listen, we should probably go over this one day just for reference sake. There's certain reasons when men are allowed to cry. There's certain times when you're allowed to cry. You're allowed to cry at your wedding. You're allowed to cry at a funeral. You're allowed to cry at the birth of your child. You're allowed to cry at the last time you play a sport that you've dedicated a good period of time to, like your last game. You're allowed to cry on that. There's certain moments. Voting is not one of them. You can't. That's not. Now, maybe there's like, you can give me some sob story where voting is like your whole life you've never been allowed to, and now you live in America and you finally can, and it represents some like big quest for freedom or something. This is like just some white guy from Brooklyn who like loves Joe Biden. Like, that's not it. You can't cry in intermittent bursts for 24 hours because you cast your vote for Joe Biden. That's not it. He said, I'm racist. This is the guy who wrote, he's like in charge of the Gemini program. Garbage in, garbage out. He said, racism is our number one value in America. And we obviously have egregious racism in this country. This is the head of Gemini. This is the lead teacher of the AI program. So however this guy wrote the code for Gemini, that is what Gemini learned, and that is what it spits out to you. Garbage in, garbage out. You put garbage in, you get garbage out. It's a truism. I think we've quoted this before, 1984, but you can't quote 1984 too often. Big Brother, the George Orwell book, Big Brother, came up with Newspeak. Right? So in the name of getting rid of nuance and ambiguity, everything was good or bad. And if it was really good, it was let's say something was good, it'd be double good or plus good and then double plus good. And it just made things easier. And what it does is it keeps you from thinking. So here's what George Orwell said. He said, don't you see the whole aim of Newspeak is to narrow the range of thought? In the end, we shall make thought crime literally impossible because there will be no words in which to express it. It's limiting. This stuff, listen, Neuralink and all this other technology stuff, we think it will expand our mind. It will suppress our mind. It will limit our minds. Gemini is one of those all-powerful technologies that will suppress your mind. And you have these woke bureaucrats, these woke activists who are writing this incredibly powerful code as a weapon. It's a weapon against you. I'll give you one more woman here. Her name is Gemini. She's one of the top people at Google as well. She is part of the Artificial Intelligence Responsibility Initiative. She's like on the ethics committee of Google. So here she is talking. This is 2021, talking about how there's too many white people at Google. And she thought she was doing good by hiring non-white people, but then the non-white people complained still because there weren't enough people who looked like them in the broader organization. And she's flagellating herself here because she didn't make her workplace safe and belonging enough and blah, blah, blah.
It was a wake-up call for me. First, I shouldn't have had to wait to be told what was missing. It was on me to ensure I was building an environment that made people feel they belong. It's a myth that you're not unfair if you treat everyone the same. There are groups that have been marginalized and excluded because of historic systems and structures that were intentionally designed to favor one group over another. So you need to account for that and mitigate against it.
Mitigate against it. Okay. Mitigate against it means treat white people worse. But here's the most absurd line. So these are the people running the show here in our technology world. She said it is a myth. There's a double negatives here, so it's tricky. It is a myth that you're not unfair because you don't want to be unfair. So it's good to be not unfair, right? So it's a myth that you're not unfair if you treat everyone the same. So you, racist, walking around listening to Patriot, it's on Sirius XM right now, you like to think you're not unfair because you treat everyone the same. You think you're a good person because you treat everyone the same. That's a myth. Treating everyone the same is not good enough. That's a myth. You think you're good because you treat everyone the same. You're being fair. Not unfair is the same as fair. So you're being fair because you treat everyone the same, which means you think you're a good person. No, that's not enough. That's a lie. You can't just treat people the same. You have to treat marginalized people better than white people, because marginalized people have been oppressed throughout all history because of the racist systems that have been created, blah, blah. Right? Now listen, if this was some crazy progressive in your college seminar, then no big deal. She's one of the top people at Google, one of the biggest companies in the world, this AI platform that is going to be integrated into almost everything you do on the internet. Incredible power that soon will be shot directly into your brains with Elon Musk's Neuralink. But it's with whatever piece of technology you're going to use.